Good morning. How's everyone doing? Having a great day. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. To that, I want to say that I'm thankful for my wife. She takes on a lot, and the kids are always hanging on her. Even if I'm the only one in the house, they're asking for mom. And when I tell them that I'm the only one in the house, they're asking for mom. So when she's around, it gets busy for her. So part of, and I mentioned this before, part of doing this early shift has been to help her out and make her feel like she has more time as well. And it's been working. I just said something I'm working on is stop saying so I'll figure out a way to penalize myself for that. I got up at 6 today and I did my mech routine because typically I do that after work before the kids get home. And I'm trying to remove, well, let me pause. I'll go back to that in a second. So I'm trying to do a lot of this for her as well. I can be selfish with my time. So figuring out a way to make this benefit me from a productive standpoint, but also benefit her from not feeling like she always has to do everything, because she does feel like she has to do everything, rightfully so, is an added benefit to this. So extremely grateful to Jessica for what she does and puts up with. I also penalize myself. I also can be quite the penalize myself smartass, and I like to have a lot of fun. And sometimes it is at the expense of her mental, if I could put it that way. Penalize myself. Anyway, so I go back to how this is working. So I did my mechs this morning because after work sometimes I will get home, do my mechs, and then it takes me 30 to 45 minutes to do my mechs. And I was going to try to get up early at 6 and go for a walk, and then I did that walk one time, and it was dark. It was, the purpose of the walk is to get sun in my eyes as the sun is rising, so trying to find the time around the sunrise. And that 6 o'clock walk was not it. So I kind of wrote off the 6 o'clock, but then I realized earlier this week, I can still do that, but I can do something in advance. And part of that kind of trigger was I've been listening to Andrew Huberman podcasts. And for those of you very few who are watching this anyway, the morning routine that I'm doing is a model of his, penalize, that I'm doing as much as I can. Like, I can't do a workout later in the morning. I have to do everything I'm going to do before I start my morning with 7. I have to leave at 7:30. Words and times. I have to leave at 7:30 or a little before 7:30 to get the kids dropped off if I'm going to do that, and to get to work at a decent time. Penalized. If I'm salary, which I am, then technically my get to work time is very fluid. But I also know that as a person with a conscience, if I get to work at 9 and I still want to leave at 4, then there's complication and it's problematic. Without other reasons. If my boss was to say, hey, yeah, no problem, take off at 3 because you have to go do XYZ, then that's great. But every single day, they're going to start questioning, rightfully so, my commitment to my schedule. Even if I was to come home and get on, we are required to be in the office 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So that creates complications. I digress. So the 7:30 leave time is non-negotiable. And until I figure something else out, when I get dressed for work and I go to work, I'm not going to go work out. I'm not going to go somewhere, change, work out, shower, change back, and go back to work. It's not going to happen. It's not something that I'm not interested in doing it. Maybe at some point I could be interested, but until I'm interested in doing that, it's non-negotiable. I said non-negotiable again. Figure out there are synonyms that exist. So the 6 o'clock item, if I can get something that I was doing in the afternoon done earlier, then that time is freed up to do a little bit more, because I want to do my mech training appropriately every day and then do my comp every day, and or my game time every day. And this is going to allow that. That being said, I've also been listening to, again, the Andrew Huberman, and I found some article somewhere. It was very interesting that they talked about having 3 phases of your day. And Huberman talks about this as well, so some version of this, but this is the original, was you have kind of an accounting phase, a productivity phase, and a learning phase. And the accounting phase is kind of like, I'm calling it house cleaning. Like I go in, I check my emails at work. I didn't say I said penalized. I check my schedule and see what's happening for the day. I move things around if I feel like I need to, if things are getting double booked, but I'm really just getting an account of the day. I'm house cleaning. I'm making sure that everything is clean before I get into the work day. And I try to do that as early as possible. When I get to work at or before 8, that's my 8 to 9 window. I'm doing those things. It should only take 15, 20 minutes, but I've kind of created this mental 8 to 9 window. If I have a meeting from 8 to 8:30 for whatever reason, then the next 30 minutes, 8:30 to 9, is where I try to get those things done. So, but I have to have an accounting phase. Then the productivity phase is, it's pretty clear you're just going to do work, and that's your most productive time. And then the learning phase, which I do after work, I don't do it at work, but I'm starting to create a work learning phase where I take something that I'm trying to improve at, and I spend that hour only doing that. That being said, and then I have my own learning phase at home, which it was in the evening when it was reading time for the kids. If I'm not reading with them, I'm reading something of my own or researching some of my own. So that was my learning time before they went to bed, penalized. But I was listening to Huberman's podcast again, and he talks about how the best time to learn something is actually within the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking up. Okay. So I am shifting this over, and I'm going to start doing something that I'm working on early in the morning. So that's why I did my mechs this morning. And then he talks about a 20-minute break. If you do something hard, do 20 minutes of, I'm going to get this wrong, non-sleep deep rest. And I need to look this up specifically and see what that all entails, because right now I'm going to do my mechs and then go walk. That's clearly not rest. I'm active. But when I'm on my walk, I'm mentally resting. So I don't know if that has any negative effects on it or whatever. So I have to figure that out. If nothing else, then I'll make some adjustments. I realize now, as I'm talking, that I've skipped my mindfulness section that I wanted to do. But I think that all of my concerns around this encapsulate this. So this is pure manifestation. This is what would be going into my manifestation entry today anyway, because I'm moving everything around and trying to recreate more time. I have an agreement with my duo for Valorant comp to, if it's not Friday night or Saturday night, we end at 10 so I can just go. The benefit of Friday night is I can go a little bit later, and I can get up a little bit later on penalty Saturday morning, and then same thing on Sunday for Sunday morning, because I'm not required to get to work by 8 o'clock or somewhere about there. And the kids generally don't need to activate. So I can get up at 7 or 7:30, still do all of this and go for my walk, but then it's a family walk on those days. We go down to the park and we'll just chill out for a couple hours or whatever. So I need to figure out this non-sleep deep rest, or whatever it's called, I'll confirm, and how much that needs to be like pure vegetative state, how much that needs to be doing maybe that's why I take a 20-minute shower afterwards. I don't know what it needs to be, but showering, then walking, then showering, it doesn't make sense either. So I'll figure that out. But I'm shifting those things to the morning, and I'm really excited to see how this works out. Huberman talks about how you can kind of monitor throughout your day when you get excited or when you get productive or when you have lulls. And I noticed that when I get back from work, I've been so busy all day long that that's my lull, and I'm forcing myself to do the mechs. And I think that when I was originally doing them, no problem, easy peasy, because I wanted to, but as the progression had slowed down and I was not making, I wasn't hitting benchmarks, I wasn't seeing new PRs each time, even for a whole week, it gets less exciting. And I needed to find a time when I wanted to actively do that. So first thing in the morning, if that's what I'm doing, even if that's the let's get it out of the way, I have this idea that doing that, then taking my 20 minutes is going to assist with the growth process, because that's what I heard and understood. And if I'm misunderstanding that, I'll figure that out soon. But I'm getting excited about it, so I'm going to go down that path and try that out. Okay, final update then. I want to say that on my walk this morning, what has typically taken me 16 to 18 minutes, I did in 13 minutes because I tried to run the last half of the mile. Now, I will say that my heart rate hitting 175 and me breathing like a tired cow was pretty gross, but it felt good. I know that I can't do the full half mile. Also, I've said this before, I don't have I have lights in the kitchen that or in the dining room that are the sliding lights. I don't have a sliding run. When it goes from walk to run, it's the switch and I'm going. And for whatever reason, I've just never been able to slowly jog. It feels uncomfortable. It's not something that I've ever been able to do even when I was in the best of shape. So when I start to run, I go as hard as I feel like I can. And I'm not sprinting per se, but I'm not running at a soft pace. And I realized that, again, I just started running and I was like, oh, I'm going way too fast for my current state of physique. And I ended up hitting, my heart rate was 175. The little heart on there was red. So I stopped and I made sure that, nothing was going on. And then I continued running after that. The reason that it turned red is because I had a walk mode on. It should have been on a run mode. And it should be fine after. 175 is still bad. I need to figure that out. I'm just super out of shape, but we'll get that reset. But it felt really good to run. I felt good afterwards, and I'm excited for when I can do the full half mile without having a problem. And then I can start to maybe incorporate the full mile. And I'm saying this to say that what I did the first time I tried to run it, it was like about a little bit less than a quarter of a mile, and I tried to run the last portion of it. That felt good, and I didn't feel a complication doing that. So I immediately went to the half mile to see if I could do that. And I'm going to slowly start doing more and more of my mile as a run. And I'm excited to get the whole mile in, and then start to work on the time of that mile to get that down. If I can get that mile down to, let's say, 8-ish minutes, under 10 minutes, then I'm going to try to do 2. And again, I think it's going to be run the first mile, walk the second mile until I feel like I can run portions of that second mile. So I'll still teeter it in. Teeter, whatever words. And slowly integrate it into the path. And then I want to be able to do 2 miles in my, what has originally started as a 20-minute morning walk. Penalized, I said. So we are seeing progress. And I'm super excited. I like and I said, I don't need to see my end result today. I want to see immediate stat updates. I want to see immediate metric updates. I'm down to 236, so we're already pushing on 4 pounds this week alone from what we had seen last week, or 3 pounds, 3 or 4 pounds. I can't remember what I think it's 3 pounds. And we're already seeing the increase of the morning exercise. I've changed one thing up. I want to see if this is sustainable, but waking up at 6, I don't feel tired. I got a good sleep score. I also went to bed earlier, so that was key there. And then I think I said so I'll penalize myself. There is one additional thing that I've done. So penalty. I talked about moving my learning or the growth phase to the morning. The reason that I'm rotating that is I realized that I kind of said I don't want to do things in the evening. I'm kind of like in this zombie state. I've been productive all day. I've been busy all day. I just want to chill. Well, that's a good time for a counting phase or the house cleaning phase. So Then, and after I'm done with comp, I have a 30-minute evening routine that I built in. So I get done at 10. I have to get done at 10. Before 10 is even better. And then from 10 to 10:30, I start my wind down. So part of the house cleaning and part of the wind down is to look at what's happening the next day and then check all of my emails at that point and get those things out of the way. That includes personal emails. That includes things like comments on the YouTube or updates on the Patreon and things like that, and start to do what would have been the accounting phase in the morning the night before, give or take some, right? I'm still going to have emails in the morning. I tend to get a ton of automated things that hit in the morning. So, but those are easy. You just go and mark them all as read. So I didn't move my current day house cleaning to the evening. I moved my current day house cleaning to the evening before and shifted it in that direction. So I am still getting in front of it and not delaying it for later in the day. The benefit of that, technically doing it in the evening as well, and even before bed, is I can get in front of some of the things I might have done the next morning anyway, but I'm also still technically doing the same day and getting those things out of the way. So there's a lot of benefit to moving that in that direction. A lot of progress, a lot of things going on. It's been a wild week, and I'm excited to keep chugging on. Thank you all. I hope you have a great day. Have a good week and a good weekend.